Hello, I'm Roger Bisbee, and in this video I want to take you through the installation of a TorFloor underfloor heating system from Omnie. Now, if you've never seen it before, this is a unique system which offers a number of benefits. It gives you a structural floor and the plate for the underfloor heating pipes all in one, so there's no need to have any build up. It's there within the floor. And the panels are multi-directional, which means that if you need to go round an obstruction, now it also has the benefit of being very silent compared to pipe and plate systems which can creak as they warm up. This one is silent. It's got great diffusion thanks to this aluminium plate all through here, and you simply press the pipe into it. But when you're installing it, there's a number of things that you need to take care of, and I'm going to show you just what's involved. The first thing is that when you're laying the floor, laying chipboard flooring is a fairly routine job that many builders do, but it's important that you take care of the details. In other words, you must make sure that it's firmly supported. We don't want boards running over between the joists and being joined between the joists. If that happens, if you can't work it so that the end lands on the joist, as this one does here, then what you need to do is put a noggin in there to support that. Now that's a standard thing on all chipboard floorings, and a lot of people don't do it. So there's the first thing we need to take care of. The next thing is that we need to glue the floor. And when I say glue the floor, I mean that these tongue and groove systems here need to be glued in properly. And that means putting glue on both sides of that joint. A lot of people don't do that. They just run a little bit along the tongue. And that means that as the floor flexes slightly, that can break away and cause it to creak and also cause sort of crunching noise. So if you put plenty of glue on, also lay a bead of glue on top of the joist, and the whole thing has to be screwed down firmly at 200mm centers so that there's no flexing. And if you take care of those details, make sure that this floor is fully supported, firmly fixed down, you won't have any trouble, because if it's not done properly, putting it right afterwards is a major mission. With any underfloor heating system, insulation is key. Not only does it stop heat being wasted underneath the floor, it also directs that heat upwards so you get a faster warm-up time and more efficient panels. With TorFloor panels, you can lay the insulation in before you put the panels down, or in this case, because we haven't put the ceilings up yet, you can work from the underside. Try to get the insulation in contact with the underside of the panels. So that's the chipboard floor screwed down firmly, and I've walked all over it, jumped up and down, and it really is rock solid. So now it's time to proceed to the second stage. Now, I've given this a good vacuum. I can't emphasize how important that is to vacuum up, because when you start rolling this pipe into the grooves, what you don't want is any little chips and things where you've been screwing into the floor. So do that, do it twice, and you'll be fine. Now the pipe just simply rolls in, as you'll see, but in order to find out where the pipe rolls in, we've got the drawings from Omnie which I've printed out here, and that gives us the pipe layout for this room. We've got all the rooms we're doing in the house and all the pipe layouts, so we've got 3 circuits here. Now the idea is, the reason you need to know this, you could just lay it in the grooves, but what would happen is you might not have enough pipe left to get you back to the manifold if you just keep laying it. So following this drawing, they've worked it out on a computer, and they know that if you run up and down, say 4 times, back to the manifold, you'll have enough pipe. It's very, very simple to do, and this is what I call the fun part. When it comes to running the flow and returns to the various rooms, you can do this by simply drilling through the panels and running the flow and return pipes under the panels and through the floor joists to the manifold. If you're installing underfloor heating in several rooms, try to work from the rooms which are furthest away from the manifold first. This way you can run your flow and returns back to the manifolds through the floor joists of the room that you haven't yet covered with the TorFloor panels. Now this is a key factor when working with these kind of panels. Now before I get carried away and start gluing and screwing all this plywood down on top of the pipes, I've got to pressure test them, which means that I've got to fill them with water, test them up to 6 bar, leave them at 6 bar, and then I know that the whole thing is safe. But I've never had any problem with this pipe ever, but you know, there's always a first time, I suppose. Now this is the bit that some people get nervous about. In order to maintain the structural integrity of this floor, we need to overlay this now with a minimum of 6mm plywood. Now, I don't like 6mm plywood, it's a little bit too flimsy. I'd rather go for 9mm, or in this case, because we wanted to come up just about level with this steel beam here, we're going with a 12mm ply, which is a little bit overkill if you like, but it's very, very solid. And this is going to be screwed and glued down with PVA adhesive. Now, putting screws through a floor that's got pipes in it may, for some people, feel like a counterintuitive thing. I've done this a few times. I've done quite a number of these, you know, whole houses and everything, and I've never hit a pipe yet. And the reason I've never hit a pipe yet is not because I'm lucky, but because I take a lot of time in working out where you can screw and where you can't screw. It's fairly obvious. If you look here, you'll see that we've got clear areas between the pipe where we can get a screw. You've also got this silver foil tape, so if at any time in the future you wanted to find out where the pipe was, you could go over there with a metal detector and you would pick up the edge of that silver foil tape there, and so you'd be able to say, okay, that's where the pipe is between there, so you wouldn't put a screw in there. So it's never lost. But there's a couple of other things I do. One thing is I measure out, mark it all up on the wall so we don't lose sight of where those safe lines are. The other thing is, get your phone out, get a tape measure, lay the tape measure down on the floor and take loads and loads of photographs. That way, if at some point in the future you want to fix down a bit of wardrobe, you know, base or something like that, and you think, oh, where were those pipes? You can just have a quick look on your photographs and you can see where the tape measure is, and you can say, right, that was 15 inches out from the wall, that pipe. So that way it's never hidden. But I may be making a bit of a fuss about this, but as I say, I've never hit a pipe yet, and that's because I do make a bit of a fuss about it. Now this particular house that I'm working on is a single dwelling, but if you're working in somewhere like flats or conversions or anywhere you've got multi-occupancy and you're worried about the sound, there is a DB version, acoustic deadening material on the back of this, which does stop that sound transmission through, and that's particularly important in flats and so on. There's even covenants to stop you putting certain floors down, but you will find the building regulations are very hot on this sound transmission now in multi-occupancy dwellings, so that product is available from Omnie.